The golden age of DC began in 1938 with the debut of Superman, a hero possessing incredible strength, flight, and a secret identity as a reporter. That issue is widely regarded as the spark for the era. Following that, Batman, a vigilante detective who relies on intellect, gadgets, and fear, debuted in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939. Robin, a youthful sidekick skilled in acrobatics and crime fighting, also appeared alongside Batman. In 1941, Wonder Woman, a warrior princess with strength, wisdom, and a magical lasso, joined the lineup in her own title. The same year introduced the Justice Society of America, a group of heroes united to fight evil. Several other heroes emerged. The Flash, a speed-powered hero with lightning-fast motion. Green Lantern, who wields a power ring fueled by willpower. Aquaman, who can breathe underwater, communicate with sea life, and possesses super strength. Dr. Fate, an archaeologist who gains mystic powers through a magical helm. The Atom, a diminutive hero capable of size manipulation. Hawkman, a winged archaeologist who wields ancient weaponry. Green Arrow, a skilled archer and vigilante. DC also absorbed all-American publications in 1940, forming a shared universe where these heroes could interact. During the Global War, many heroes fought the Axis powers in themed stories. Comic covers often included wartime messaging. In the post-war years, interest in superheroes waned. Many titles switched to Western, crime, romance, and horror themes. DC retained only certain long-running titles through the 1950s. Action Comics, Adventure Comics, Detective Comics, Batman, Superboy, Superman, Wonder Woman, and World's Finest Comics. A significant turning point occurred in 1954 when Seduction of the Innocent was published, alleging that comics led to youth misbehavior. This led to government hearings and the creation of the Comics Code Authority, a self-censorship body that enforced moral guidelines and severely limited content. In summary, the era saw the birth of numerous identifiable heroes and a shared universe, morale-boosting wartime narratives, a decline in hero popularity, and censorship through the Comics Code. The Silver Age of DC began in 1956 with the appearance of a new version of The Flash, a hero endowed with super speed and an investigative nature. That debut reignited interest in heroes and initiated the period. During this phase, DC revived heroes from earlier times with updated traits. Green Lantern, a test pilot who wields a ring powered by an alien battery and serves in an intergalactic police force, returned in a redesigned origin. Hawkman, a winged archaeologist equipped with ancient weaponry, was also reimagined. The Atom, a scientist who can shrink and retain strength, likewise appeared with a new background. New characters that emerged include Martian Manhunter, an extraterrestrial detective with telepathy and shape-changing abilities, and Captain Comet, a science fiction adventurer with psychic gifts. DC formed a new team, Justice League of America, a group comprising updated versions of heroes uniting multiple characters in coordinated missions. DC established a multiverse to explain both old and new heroes. The Justice Society of America from an earlier age was explained as existing on a separate Earth called Earth 2, while the newer heroes existed on Earth 1, enabling crossover stories. Throughout this era, science and speculative technology replaced mystical origins. The Green Lantern's ring, the Flash's speed, and other powers were grounded in imaginative science, reflecting contemporary fascination with scientific progress. The Silver Age marks a period of creative resurgence, followed by the transition into the Bronze Age of comics. The Bronze Age of DC begins around 1970, often marked by the April 1970 issue Green Lantern Green Arrow number 76, in which a power ring-wielding hero struggles with poverty and self-doubt when teamed with an expert archer. That issue shifted tone toward real-world themes and signaled a departure from earlier storytelling styles. A cosmic saga begins in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, introducing a series of new stories involving cosmic beings and parallel worlds. These developments coincide with broader shifts, a reduction in fanciful powers for the most iconic hero, scale back of his near-limitless abilities, alongside experimentation in horror. Stories adopt darker, socially relevant themes. Mid-period, DC launches a surge of new series called the DC Explosion, including horror, fantasy, and science fiction titles. That growth leads to an abrupt contraction known as the DC Implosion, as many new series are canceled amid declining sales. The era concludes with the 1985 to 1986 Crisis on Infinite Earths event, which ends the multiverse structure and resets the entire history of the universe. In summary, this era preserves traditional superhero frameworks while introducing deeper realism, socially conscious narratives, and culminates in a universe-altering reset. The post-crisis era in DC begins in 1985 with Crisis on Infinite Earths, a universe-shaping event that erased multiple realities and created a single unified world known as New Earth, also called Earth Zero. After that, the new shared reality resets histories. Icons such as Superman, a hero with near-limitless powers originally from a dying planet, receive fresh origin stories in Man of Steel number 1. That distinct beginning replaces earlier versions. During this period, Wonder Woman, a warrior born on an all-female island, also receives a redefined introduction Introduction. Originals and backstories of figures like Batman, a detective bound by a strict moral code, and other classic characters are retold to align with the new world. Early post-crisis establishes the new versions of characters in their modern forms. 0 Hour Crisis in Time, another continuity-altering event, attempts to correct inconsistencies in the timeline. Its goal is to stabilize the chaotic history built since the original crisis. The concept called hypertime is introduced. Hypertime envisions a network of branching timelines that allows for multiple variations while keeping the main continuity intact. Infinite Crisis revisits and reshapes continuity again. It reintroduces previously discarded history and redresses some resets from earlier in the era. This era concludes in 2011 with the Flashpoint event. That story leads into a full reboot of the world as the New 52, marking the end of the post-crisis continuity. In summary, the post-crisis era unfolds with a sweeping reboot, the launch of modern origin stories, several major continuity-altering events, and the introduction of hypertime, ending with Flashpoint and the launch of a new era. The New 52 era originates in 2011 after the Flashpoint storyline, when the entire line of ongoing titles was cancelled and relaunched as 52 new series, each beginning at issue number 1. This initiative reorganized the universe, blending characters and stories from former imprints into the main continuity. This relaunch functioned as a soft reboot, preserving select historic storylines such as War of the Green Lanterns, Batman, A Death in the Family, and Batman the Killing Joke, while simplifying or revising origins and chronology across the line. Prominent titles like Justice League #1 and Batman #1 launched the era's tone, introducing new costume designs and streamlined mythologies while retaining iconic story arcs. Across the era, public awareness of superheroes was reset. As the era progressed, DC introduced additional waves of titles and launched 0-month issues to provide prequel context. The Villains Month event spotlighted antagonist-centric issues, while new titles continued to emerge in waves, expanding the universe. The era formally ended in 2016 with the launch of the Rebirth initiative, which began restoring elements of previous continuity and integrating New 52 history into a more unified framework. In summary, the New 52 era features a sweeping soft reboot that resets hero timelines, restructures series launches, merges multiverse elements, and transitions into Rebirth as a restorative continuity shift. The DC Rebirth era begins in 2016 with the 80-page DC Universe Rebirth one-shot, which ended the prior era and restored the universe to a state resembling its condition before the 2011 Flashpoint event, while retaining many elements of that intervening period. The initiative integrated elements of the post-Flashpoint continuity with the pre-Flashpoint past, re-establishing a sense of history and legacy, rather than fully discarding prior continuity. Numerous one-shot Rebirth issues appeared for key characters. 2 major continuity-shaping events occurred. Dark Knight's Metal introduced the concept of a dark multiverse underlying the main world, while its sequel Death Metal further reshaped mythos and set the stage for a new narrative direction. Those events ultimately led into the Infinite Frontier era, which expanded the scope of continuity, effectively allowing broader integration of past continuity into the current timeline. The DC Rebirth era restores foundational continuity, balances legacy with recent history, deploys character-specific one-shots, executes major narrative events, and transitions into a new narrative phase, Infinite Frontier, that builds upon the Rebirth groundwork. The DC Infinite Frontier era begins in 2021, with the release of Infinite Frontier #0, a 64-page one-shot that establishes a new era, following Future State and Dark Knight's Death Metal, and sets the stage for future narrative threads. This era reflects a new status quo in which the DC multiverse expands into an omniverse, where all previous history is valid and continuity is inclusive. Within this structure, Wonder Woman is taken on a journey by the Spectre, an entity embodying divine justice, to confirm that her allies remain safe across realities. Characters adapt to this expanded continuity. Alan Scott, a hero powered by a magical ring, reunites with his children Jade and Obsidian as part of Infinity Inc. Roy Harper, a skilled archer, returns to life. Tim Drake, a detective and vigilante, resumes the role of Robin. Damian Wayne, a warrior and former Robin, continues his leadership. Clark Kent coexists with his son Jonathan Kent, who also serves as Superman. Barry Allen, Wally West, and Avery Ho all function within the Flash mantle. Diana of Themyscira, a protector of peace, continues from the afterlife, while her mother Hippolyta fills her spot on the Justice League. Nubia, her sister, explores succession to the Wonder Woman title. Jace Fox, a successor to the Batman persona, serves as Batman of New York, while Bruce Wayne remains in Gotham City. This era emphasizes that all historical storylines matter. It continues elements from Rebirth, preserves key portions of recent backstories, and blends legacy history with modern continuity. The era concludes with major crossovers such as Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and Lazarus Planet, leading into the next phase known as Dawn of DC. In summary, the Infinite Frontier era unfolds as a soft relaunch. It expands expands the DC multiverse into an omniverse, affirms that every storyline counts, reintegrates legacy characters and history, and presents new character dynamics and shared mantles. The dawn of DC era begins in 2023 with Action Comics number 1051, which starts a new publishing initiative following the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and Lazarus Planet events. It is a year-long storytelling initiative composed of a gradual rollout of new and renewed titles, rather than a full line-wide reboot. This initiative restores previously underused characters and relaunches core heroes. Unstoppable Doom Patrol reintroduces a band of unusual heroes into mainstream continuity. Superboy, Man of Tomorrow emphasizes a younger hero forging identity and independence. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan and Green Lantern John Stewart return classic heroes to active status. Titles such as Batman the Brave and the Bold, featuring team-ups, and a new Cyborg series spotlight formerly sidelined figures. The initiative is designed as fresh entry points for new readers, not as a reset of continuity, while still being built upon the developments of Dark Crisis and Lazarus Planet. Major narrative events within the era include Night Terrors, a line-wide horror crossover, followed by Batman Catwoman the Gotham War crossover, and later the Titans Beastworld event. The era culminates with the Absolute Power Limited series, which leads into the next and current initiative, DC All In.